If you are over 60 and feel backed up even when you drink water, your body may be missing the one thing your gut needs most, the right kind of fiber. You might sit on the toilet, strain, feel bloated, and wonder why something so simple has become so frustrating. After 60, your digestion can slow down, and stool can sit in your colon longer, which makes it harder, drier, and more painful to pass. Today, we are going through the canned foods that can help soften your stool, support regular bowel movements, and help you go naturally without depending on harsh bathroom emergencies. Number 5. Canned beans. Canned beans may not look exciting, but if you are constipated after 60, they can be one of the most useful foods sitting in your pantry. Black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, and navy beans all have something your gut has probably been asking for: fiber. And when your bowel movements become hard, slow, and uncomfortable, fiber is often the missing piece. Think about your usual meals for a moment. Maybe breakfast is toast, coffee, and something quick. Lunch might be a sandwich, crackers, or something easy from the fridge. Dinner might have protein and a small side, but not much that actually gives your stool the bulk it needs to move. You may be eating enough food, but your gut may still not be getting the kind of food that helps push waste along. That is where canned beans can help. Fiber is the part of plant food your body does not fully digest. Instead of disappearing like sugar or protein, it travels through your digestive system and helps shape your stool. Some fiber adds bulk, which gives your intestines something to push against. Some fiber helps stool hold water, which makes it softer and easier to pass. When you do not get enough of either one, stool can become small, dry, and difficult to move. You do not need to turn this into a complicated diet plan. A small serving of canned beans can make a real difference when you eat them consistently. You can rinse them, warm them, and add them to soup. You can mix them into rice. You can mash them slightly and spread them on whole grain toast. You can even add a few spoonfuls to a salad if you want something simple. The point is not to eat a giant bowl once and hope everything changes overnight. Your gut responds better to a steady pattern. This matters even more after 60 because your intestines may not squeeze as strongly as they used to. Those squeezing motions are what move stool forward. When that movement slows down, stool spends more time sitting in the colon. The longer it sits there, the more water your body pulls out of it. That is when you get the hard, dry stool that makes you strain. And straining is not just uncomfortable. If you strain too often, you may irritate hemorrhoids, feel pressure, or become afraid of going to the bathroom because you already know it is going to hurt. That fear can make you delay going, and delaying only gives your stool more time to dry out. It becomes a cycle that is hard to break unless you give your gut the right support. The key with canned beans is to start small. If you suddenly go from almost no fiber to a full bowl of beans every day, you may feel bloated or gassy. That does not mean beans are bad for you. It usually means your gut needs time to adjust. Start with a few spoonfuls, drink water with your meals, and slowly increase the amount over several days. If you have kidney disease or have been told to limit potassium, ask your doctor what amount is safe for you before making beans a daily habit. Canned beans help by adding bulk and moisture to your stool, but the next food is a little different. It is softer, easier for many people to digest, and can be especially helpful when your gut feels sluggish and heavy. Number 4. Canned chickpeas. Canned chickpeas are one of those foods you may walk past in the grocery store without giving them much thought. They do not look powerful. They do not look like something that could change your bathroom routine. But if you are over 60 and your stool feels hard, dry, or difficult to pass, chickpeas can quietly do something your gut may be missing. You might know chickpeas as the little round beans used in hummus. In canned form, they are already cooked, soft enough to chew, and easy to add to a meal without soaking anything overnight. That matters because when you are constipated, the last thing you want is another complicated food rule. You want something you can open, rinse, and actually use. Chickpeas help because they bring fiber into your gut in a steady, useful way. One type of fiber helps add size to your stool. That size matters because your intestines need something to push forward. When your meals are mostly low-fiber foods, your stool may not have enough bulk to trigger that natural movement. It can sit there, dry out, and become harder to pass. Another type of fiber in chickpeas helps hold water in your stool. That is important because hard stool usually means too much water has been pulled out before you were able to go. When stool holds more moisture, it becomes softer and less painful to pass. You may still need time and consistency, but you are finally giving your gut something it can work with. Chickpeas also feed the helpful bacteria that live in your gut. Those bacteria are not a bad thing. Your body needs them. When they get the right food from fiber, they help support a healthier gut environment. A healthy gut environment can make your bowel movements feel more regular over time, especially when your digestion has been slow for years. This is where many people make a mistake. You may try one high-fiber food one time, not see a huge change the next morning, and decide it did not work. But your gut does not usually reset from one meal. It responds to patterns. If you add a small serving of chickpeas several times a week, your digestive system has a better chance to build a rhythm. After 60, that rhythm matters more than ever. Your intestines may move more slowly, and you may also be taking medications that can make constipation worse. Some pain medicines, blood pressure medicines, iron pills, and other common medications can slow things down for certain people. That does not mean you should stop anything on your own. It simply means your food choices have to work harder to support regular movement. The easiest way to use canned chickpeas is to rinse them first. Rinsing helps remove some of the salty liquid from the can and makes them taste cleaner. You can add a few spoonfuls to soup, mix them with chopped cucumber and tomato, or mash them with a little olive oil and lemon for a simple spread. If your digestion is sensitive, start with a small amount instead of eating a full cup right away. Too much fiber too quickly can cause gas, bloating, or cramping, especially if your gut is not used to it. And always remember the part many people skip. Fiber needs fluid. If you add chickpeas but barely drink anything, your stool can become bulkier without becoming softer. That can make constipation feel worse instead of better. A small serving of chickpeas with enough water during the day is much smarter than a large serving with no fluids. Chickpeas are helpful because they give your stool more bulk and help your gut bacteria do their job. But the next canned food is even gentler for many people, and it can be especially useful when your digestion feels slow, heavy, and stuck. Number 3. Canned lentils. Canned lentils are one of the easiest constipation foods to overlook because they do not look special at all. They are soft, simple, and usually sitting on the lower shelf at the grocery store where you barely notice them. But if your bowel movements have become slow, hard, or unpredictable after 60, lentils can be one of the most useful foods to keep in your pantry. You may already know the feeling. You eat breakfast, drink your coffee, wait for your body to give you the signal, and nothing happens. Then the day goes on. Your stomach feels heavier, your pants feel tighter, and you start thinking about whether you need a laxative again. That frustration can make you feel like your body is working against you, when in many cases, your gut simply is not getting enough of the right kind of food to move comfortably. Canned lentils help because they are rich in fiber, but they are also soft and gentle compared with many other high-fiber foods. Some foods with fiber feel rough or heavy in your stomach. Lentils are different because they are already tender when they come from the can. You can rinse them, warm them, and add them to a meal without much chewing, chopping, or preparation. That makes them especially practical if you want something easy and consistent. The fiber in lentils helps your stool hold more water and gives it enough size for your intestines to move it forward. When stool is too small and dry, your body has a harder time pushing it along. It sits in the colon longer, and the longer it sits there, the harder it becomes. Lentils help interrupt that cycle by giving your gut something soft, moist, and steady to work with. Lentils also contain a type of starch that your body does not fully break down right away. You can think of it as food that reaches the lower part of your gut, where your helpful bacteria live. When those bacteria feed on it, they produce small compounds that support movement in the colon. You do not need to remember the science word for this. The simple idea is that lentils help feed the part of your gut that helps keep things moving. This is why consistency matters so much. Eating lentils once may not change everything by tomorrow morning, but adding a small serving several times a week can help your body build a more regular rhythm. Your gut often responds better to a pattern than to a one-time rescue meal. If you only think about fiber when you are already miserable, you are always playing catch-up. Lentils work best when they become part of your normal routine. After 60, that routine becomes more important because your digestion may naturally slow down. You may also move less during the day, drink less water because you are trying to avoid frequent bathroom trips, or take medicines that make constipation more likely. All of those things can make stool sit longer than it should. Lentils do not force your body like a harsh laxative can. They support the normal process by giving your stool more softness, bulk, and moisture. The easiest way to start is with a small serving. Rinse canned lentils, add a few spoonfuls to soup, stir them into cooked vegetables, or mix them with rice and olive oil. If you eat too much too quickly, you may feel bloated or gassy, so give your gut time to adjust. And just like with beans and chickpeas, drink enough fluid during the day so the fiber can do its job properly. Canned lentils are helpful because they gently support your gut over time, but the next food works in a different way. It does not just add fiber. It also contains a natural ingredient that helps pull water into your stool, which can make it much easier to pass. Number 2. Canned pears. Canned pears may surprise you because they feel more like a simple snack than something that can help your digestion. You might think of them as something soft, sweet, and easy to eat when your appetite is low. But if you are over 60 and your stool has become hard, dry, or painful to pass, pears can help in a way that beans, chickpeas, and lentils do not. You may know this feeling well. You drink water, try to eat a little better, and still sit there wondering why your body will not go. Your stomach feels full, but nothing moves the way it should. That is usually when people start thinking about laxatives, but before you reach for something harsh, it helps to understand what your stool is missing. Very often, it is missing moisture. Canned pears help because they contain fiber and a natural substance called sorbitol. Sorbitol sounds like a chemical, but in pears, it is simply a natural sugar that your body does not fully absorb. Because it stays in the gut, it helps pull water into the stool. That extra water can make the stool softer, smoother, and easier to pass. Pears also contain a soft type of fiber called pectin. Pectin helps hold moisture in the stool so it does not dry out as quickly while it moves through your colon. Think of it like helping the stool stay soft instead of turning hard and compacted. That matters because hard stool is what makes you strain, and straining is often what makes constipation feel painful and exhausting. This is why canned pears can be useful for people who struggle with dry stool. Beans and lentils add bulk, which is important, but pears help with moisture, and many people need both. If your stool feels like it is stuck because it is too hard, a food that helps bring water into the bowel can be especially helpful when used consistently. After 60, this becomes even more important because stool often moves more slowly through your colon. The longer it sits there, the more water your body pulls out of it. By the time you feel ready to go, the stool may already be too dry and firm. Pears help fight that problem by supporting softness, which can make bowel movements feel less forced. The easiest way to use canned pears is to choose pears packed in water or juice when possible instead of heavy syrup. Heavy syrup adds extra sugar that many people do not need, especially if you are watching your blood sugar. You can eat a small serving with breakfast, add it to oatmeal, or have it after dinner as a gentle, sweet food that also supports your gut. But do not overdo it. Too many pears at once can cause gas, bloating, or loose stools because of the sorbitol. Start with a small serving and see how your body responds. If you have diabetes, kidney disease, or a diet your doctor has asked you to follow, it is worth asking what portion size fits your situation. Canned pears are helpful because they bring moisture and soft fiber into the picture. But the final canned food on this list is the one many people already connect with constipation, and there is a reason it has kept that reputation for generations. Number 1. Canned prunes. Canned prunes are probably the food you expected to see somewhere on this list, and there is a good reason they have such a strong reputation. For generations, people have used prunes when they feel backed up, slow, or uncomfortable. But the reason they help is not just an old household belief. Prunes work in several ways at the same time, which is why they deserve the number 1 spot. You may have reached the point where going to the bathroom feels like a daily battle. You sit there longer than you want to admit. You strain, feel pressure, and still do not get the relief you were hoping for. Then the rest of the day feels heavier because your stomach is bloated, your clothes feel tight, and you keep wondering when your body is finally going to cooperate. Canned prunes can help because they contain fiber, sorbitol, and natural plant compounds that support bowel movement. Sorbitol is the same natural sugar found in pears, but prunes are especially known for it. It helps pull water into the bowel, which can make stool softer and easier to pass. That matters because constipation after 60 is often not just about slow movement. It is also about stool becoming too dry while it sits in the colon. The fiber in prunes adds another layer of support. It gives your stool more shape and helps it hold moisture as it moves through your gut. When stool is too small, dry, or hard, your intestines have a harder time pushing it forward. Prunes help make that stool easier for your body to move, instead of forcing you to strain harder. Prunes also contain natural compounds that may help stimulate the colon gently. The colon is the lower part of your intestine where stool forms before you go to the bathroom. When your colon is sluggish, stool sits there longer, dries out more, and becomes harder to pass. Prunes help support that natural movement without turning your bathroom routine into an emergency for most people. This is why prunes are so useful after 60. Your digestion may be slower than it used to be, and you may not feel the urge to go as strongly or as regularly. You might also be eating less food overall, moving less during the day, or taking medications that make constipation more likely. Prunes do not fix every cause of constipation, but they can give your gut the moisture, fiber, and gentle push it may be missing. The best way to use canned prunes is to start small. A few prunes a day is a better beginning than eating a large serving all at once. Too many can cause gas, cramping, or loose stools, especially if your body is not used to them. Look for prunes packed in water or juice when possible, and be careful with versions packed in heavy syrup if you are watching your sugar intake. You can eat them with breakfast, add them to oatmeal, or have a small serving in the evening if that works better for your routine. The goal is not to shock your body. The goal is to give your gut steady support until your bowel movements become softer and more predictable. And as always, if your constipation is new, severe, painful, or comes with bleeding, unexplained weight loss, or vomiting, talk to your doctor instead of trying to handle it with food alone. Now we want to hear from you. Which of these canned foods are you most likely to try first? Beans, chickpeas, lentils, pears, or prunes? Tell us in the comments below. We read every single one. And if you found this helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe so you never miss what we cover next. Thanks for watching.